Your team secretly hates you, but it has nothing to do with your leadership. In fact, you can be a bad leader and people will still love you. Here's what I mean. When I created my personal development through martial arts program, first of its kind in the world, I had a bunch of teachers. I had business teachers, I had a few martial arts teachers, but there was one teacher in particular that I really loved. And he wasn't a good leader. And the reason why I loved him so much was because he gave me something nobody else did in my 20s. He praised me for my love for martial arts. He showed me how fast I was progressing, and he said I was talented, but it was really the result of years of hard work. This was my third martial arts style. I felt seen in that moment. But then he said something that I would never forget. He said, if you become a teacher of this art, I will make you famous. Now, for a 20-year-old whose ego and insecurity was as big as a 10-story building, that left a huge impression on me. But really what happened was he gave me purpose. So I went all in. I dedicated my whole life to becoming a version of me that this teacher would be proud of. And you might say, Bogdan, that's great leadership. What are you talking about? Here's what I mean. He wasn't a good leader because all of his instructors left. Something would happen and they would have a fallout. And I didn't realize it at the time, but that would happen to me too. The moment he took away that purpose, that meaning that he initially gave me, that love turned into hate. Instantly. He just wanted me to teach the martial arts. And he said, your personal development stuff is shit. And that broke me because I looked up at this guy as a god, as a father, as whatever. I know, sounds a bit cultish, and it probably was. His ego and insecurities would always take the best of him. But until that happened, I constantly overlooked all of his shortcomings. That promise of making me famous never came true, but I still really appreciated him. And every time I needed to make a decision in my school, I would call him up. I needed his approval. This sounds really toxic, and it was. Do you know who else was a shitty leader who was actually very successful? That's right, the Fruit Master himself.
I used to work for Steve Jobs. By the way, not a nice guy. He would say to a room full of people, it's what I want. They don't know what they want till I tell them what they want. And fucking shut up and do what I say.
But what I'm saying is that people will love you even if your leadership sucks, as long as you give them one thing and one thing only: meaning. Viktor Frankl, the author of Man's Search for Meaning, said that we often give up our own well-being for meaning, for purpose. And it's true. But if you don't want to make the same mistakes as my teacher made, get my book. It will turn you into an amazing leader, because I learned a lot about what to do and what not to do from my own mistakes and from other people's mistakes. Book is free. Get it with the link below. Now you might say, oh, but I'm nice with my team. Of course they love me. No, they don't. When you're nice, but you don't give them meaning and purpose, they will hate you more. And here's what I mean. Imagine somebody going to work and feeling like their work is absolutely meaningless. People aren't rarely going to look in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? It's my fault that I chose this job that's draining my soul. They're going to look at you and they're going to blame you. Number one, for having hired them in the first place. And number two, because it's always easier to blame someone else for the way that we are feeling. They might be smiling when you're around, but the moment you're out of the room, you probably know what happens. So let's change this. Let's tap into actual powerful, meaningful, purposeful leadership. And I'm going to give you 3 steps that are very important. If you follow these 3 steps, your team will show up for you, for the company, with their full potential, with their full dedication. They will show you better and faster ways of achieving your goals and the company goals. Working together like an elite unit of samurai. In other words, they will lead you to becoming a successful leader. If you don't take these steps seriously, you're going to keep dealing with people who just don't want to be there, who don't care about your company, who don't care about your leadership, who smile, are nice when you're there, but immediately talk shit behind your back. And you're always going to be stressed, overwhelmed, and lonely. But we don't want that. Number one, get clear on your vision and simplify it, dumb it down. I see this with complete beginners. I see this with 7, 8, 9-figure business owners. You ask them, what do you do? What is the company vision? We provide the best products at the most affordable prices. We have the best manufacturing. We want to give our clients an amazing experience. That's not a vision statement. A vision statement is something simple, easy to understand, exciting for the right people, and shareable. Imagine your team talking about their company to their friends. Their friends ask them, hey, what do you do? Well, we do the blah, 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 and their friends just tune out. In that moment that they talk about their work, they don't feel proud. They actually feel like, okay, my work doesn't really matter. My work is kind of meaningless because I can't even explain what I actually do. You want to equip them with an engaging, simple way to talk about the company vision. This opens up opportunities, not just in terms of attracting better people in your tribe, but attracting better clients. Simple example, Microsoft. Their vision statement back in the day was a computer on every desk. Simple, easy to understand, shareable, and exciting for the right people. Here's another example. This resort hotel was really messing up their branding. They're talking about their history, about their facilities, and nobody cares. When they realized that all their clients wanted was a luxurious experience and to get some rest, that's all their branding was about. That's what their mission statement was about. Giving our guests the most luxurious and restful experience. Simple, easy to understand. Guess what happened with their staff? All of them knew what their work was about, what the purpose of their work was about. In any moment of the day, they knew why they did what they were doing, for who they did what they were doing, and what was the benefit, the outcome, the difference that they were making in people's lives. So imagine the staff talking to their friends. Very easy to share, very easy to find pride in your work, and very easy to attract new staff members, because if they're talking about it with their friends are going to be like, whoa, this is cool. I want to provide people with some rest. I want to make sure that people have a great experience. That sounds like fun. Very, very important. But oftentimes quite challenging to do. I give you the framework in my book. If you want my personal help, right now, we are fully booked with one-on-one, but there are other options that we can explore together. So check the other available links for more information. Now, this is where leaders mess up. Step number 2, connect their personal vision, their personal goals with the company vision. What my martial arts teacher did very well when he said, I will make you very famous, he took my kind of what I wanted, because, my insecurities in growing up, I just wanted to be seen. So this idea of being seen by a lot of people, being famous, that was very appealing to me. That was like, oh, an amazing goal. Me becoming famous would add to my teacher's goals, because he wanted to have a series of schools. On paper, the more famous your teachers are, your instructors are, the better it is for you, the main instructor. Now, what you want to do differently compared to what my teacher did, the fact that he never followed through on actively helping me achieve that goal, and I had to hire marketing coaches, business coaches to better understand how to grow my martial arts school, can really help the situation. So you want to become an active component to helping and serving your team in achieving their personal vision, their personal goals. It's a bit time consuming, but when you instill this type of culture, not just in yourself, but in your leaders, sky is the limit. People will feel like you actually care. And guess what? People mostly care about themselves, about surviving and thriving. If you can help them survive and thrive and give them meaning, show them the bigger picture, you have a very, very powerful unit on your hands. Third element, very, very important, because a goal without the confidence or some sense of hope that you can achieve that specific goal becomes meaningless. To give that goal meaning, both for the company vision and both for their personal goals, you need to amplify their confidence that they can actually achieve that goal. Show them the progress that they've made since working with you. Help them set some specific goals, some achievable goals for the next 30 days. And then after 30 days, celebrate them for having grown. Celebrate and acknowledge the small steps. Whenever this martial arts teacher would acknowledge me and say, hey, you did this really well. My God, it felt so good. I felt so seen, so understood, so validated. But whenever he would criticize me, and it wasn't like a constructive criticism, I felt like, yeah, like crawling into a hole and not coming out. So be very, very, very careful when you do give constructive criticism. Start with a hug, appreciate them, show them where they can improve, the opportunities, and then end with a hug and say, hey, I'm sure we can improve on these aspects because I know your track record, I know who you are, and I know you always get better every time. So I appreciate you. End with, I appreciate you, and mean it. And you will have the benefits of the loyalty I had for my martial arts teacher, but without any of the toxicity. Wouldn't that be nice? Now, if you're anything like me, your mind is probably racing right now, and maybe you're feeling a bit stressed and overwhelmed about implementing these principles. But that's only because you haven't trained your mind to help you rather than get in your way. And to fix that, watch this video next.